Welcome back to Punch Drunk Nerd, the podcast where three friends, three amigos, three bambinos come together to talk about nerd shit. It's me, Luis Gonzalez, and with me is
Miguel Sanchez
and Ed Bull.
And today we're going to talk about Gladiator. Gladiator 2 just came out this past weekend. Wicked came out, but we decided to watch Gladiator. So that's where we decided to do.
Good one.
Thank you. Yeah. Did you guys listen to last week's episode? It was fantastic. All right, this episode is brought to you by last week's episode. If you haven't heard of it, go back and listen to it. Miguel did a solo episode, and it was the best one yet.
Might genuinely be the best one yet. Like, if you guys ever thought, like, these guys just need to focus up, listen to last week's episode.
When I was listening to it, I was thinking, you know what we should do like not like a greatest hits episode. We should do like our solo hits episode where we like merge all three of our solo episodes together into one
and
podcast.
Make it into a conversation.
Yeah, like one.
To like,
could you imagine it going
hardcore?
back
Yeah. Let me tell you what the sexiest cheese is. Yeah.
Although
You're
it
right,
would be on
Luis.
my back for that.
Yeah.
You're not busy. What do you care?
I'll make notes. I'll go through each one and I'll make notes, and you can go off.
Give me
that.
a paper cut, Ed. All right, give me a paper cut.
There you go. We got it.
That's what we call it in the biz. Speaking of business, talk about the entertainment business. Christopher Nolan making movies like he always does. He's got a big old cast. He has Matt Damon, Tom Holland. You know, if you heard the podcast last week, Miguel already kind of covered all this. But the problem is that we got somebody else joining the cast.
Who?
Charlize Theron.
Woo. I'm excited for that. I like her because she can do so much. She's a very like diverse actor. Like she can do like think about all of her projects, right? Go back to Disney days. Mighty Joe Young. She could do a family movie, okay? She can do Ridley Scott's Prometheus. She could do that hard sci-fi.
That's
she
a
can
huge
do
leap, my friend.
Atomic Blonde, where she can do action.
You skipped like 12 years of her fucking career.
Also, that monster movie or whatever, where she was a serial killer. She won the Oscar. Okay,
well done.
Like something about Charlize Theron. I feel like in person, I bet she's not very approachable, and I mean that kind of respectfully. Like I bet she's just like, no, thank you. Not today, thank you. Whatever South African accent she has, and right, that's where she's from, right?
Sure, yeah,
so.
but
she's from South Africa.
Good nod, but
she hopped into the MCU, in that god awful scene. Not her, it was that CGI. I'm just saying she could do so much, and then I just never thought of her as like a Nolan actor. Yeah. And now I'm like, yes, baby.
Which makes it a lot more fun. It is like interesting. Same with, with every
Furious.
project, with every Robert Downey Jr. You were just like, what's he going to do with Nolan, or what's Nolan going to do with him?
He did that,
and now we get Tom Holland, Zendaya, Charlize Theron, of course, and then we got Anne Hathaway. Oh, Lupita Nyong'o, I'm really excited about too.
Yeah, I love these newcomers.
Yeah. But then the oldies, Robert Pattinson. Hey, I'm just waiting for that Cillian Murphy announcement. Or do you think they'll just shimmy?
I think he's done. I think he did the one.
Like a Hugh Jackman. Like he did the one, and I'm done.
Well, no, Cillian did a ton of them, but I'm just meaning like he did
right.
like his one. Like he was like
he did the one that won it. Yeah,
and they were both looking at each other like,
respectfully, I'm done,
bro. We're done.
Oh man,
they're at the end of Fast and Furious when they verge off into the two lanes.
Yeah, or Tenet. Let's make a Nolan reference. Stop bringing up Fast and Furious.
I just don't understand Tenet. I'm sorry. Okay,
I don't either. But there's a moment where they just look at each other and get emotional, and that's what I feel like Christopher Nolan felt like with Cillian Murphy.
No, don't worry. They'll get back together. But I just feel like Cillian is going to be so busy over the next few years.
Or not. He's so chill.
Okay, babe. Yeah, I love that. I love our
contradictions.
Dichotomy. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, that's great.
We'll probably have more casting updates coming later.
Do you guys know, like, there's that meme? I want to say it's like when, like in 2020 or 2016 or whatever, like leading up to the elections, like anytime a politician would drop out of the presidential race, there would be like a heaven meme where they would just like add a new person that's like, this person dropped out. You know what meme I'm talking about? That's what we have to do with the Nolan infographic that's down at the bottom of our screen right now. We just have to start adding people for the rest of the movie until it's done.
I thought about that. I feel like I have to put not only her face, but I need to put like a date on there so people know when it was posted. You know what I mean? Because then we're just going to start posting like a billion of them.
Yeah, like put a teeny tiny on their forehead
teeny
or something.
Tiny, itty bitty,
kind of like
teeny.
that third eyeball that Doctor Strange had in Multiverse of Madness. In that one scene with her.
God damn.
That was really bad.
I mean, only made worse by her like Power Ranger ass costume that they had wearing.
It was very like honorary Power Ranger. Like you're not the Power Ranger, but like
you know what I mean.
You know,
you're in the
cast. Yeah.
Or like, hey guys, we're rebooting this, and here's Charlize Theron as Rita. That's how that felt.
Oof, yeah.
That's
the thing. That's the thing with like Marvel actors now. Like when you sign on to a Marvel movie, maybe
you may have just shown up, and then they're just like, "Oh, sorry,
you're done." Yeah. Like Mahershala, done.
He got his voice in.
Harry Styles one time. Charlize Theron in that one scene. You know. Anyway,
sad.
It's crazy.
Sad.
It felt like when you used to be cast for a Marvel movie, it was a huge deal. I was like, oh my god,
you were like
life's changed.
Yeah,
and now you cast in a Marvel movie and you're like an extra in She-Hulk, and you're like, wow, okay, what a waste.
Simu Liu, Shang-Chi, right? Like he was like, I got my own movie, and they were like, yeah. No, you're an Avenger. Yeah.
You're an Avenger. Like you're gonna show up in the Avengers movie, but
how many rings?
The one? Oh, who are you bringing back? Robert Downey Jr.? Oh shit, man! All right.
Man, we're gonna really watch a lot of his stuff.
Yeah. Oh, you got Pedro Pascal coming on? Fuck.
Man, hey, dude. Speaking of Pedro Pascal, I don't know how to say this respectfully, but my man has slimmed down a lot for this role in Fantastic Four. Like Gladiator, Last of Us, post Game of Thrones. Like he just got kind of like
on that fucking Ozempic.
But now all of a sudden he is like slim, dude.
Yeah.
That Gladiator promo, that you've been seeing going around, it's just like, oh, dude, like no wonder. Like he's just like superhero fit. He's on that Marvel diet, like these actors that are like big name characters. They're like, no, you got to be on the strict diet, strict exercise. Nah, he's slimming down.
They pay for that shit,
I mean,
it looks hot.
Ed's saying it, but we're all thinking it. No one's arguing with that point. Okay.
No, I think it's just like, everybody was watching The Mandalorian, just like take it off, take all of that armor off, and now we got it.
That is the way.
Yeah, that is. Yeah. How did we end up there? Anyway.
I think that was to wrap up Charlize Theron joining the Nolan film coming up.
Nothing related to Marvel.
We've got like 2 more things, and then we can finally get to what we really wanted to talk about in this podcast, which is Gladiator 2.
Lilo and Stitch.
Oh, yeah. No, but this was actually, I'm thinking I'm going to get Miguel excited for this. The PlayStation Portal. Did you hear about the PlayStation Portal? How now you don't need the PlayStation 5 to play it. You just need to get a what's the premium subscription? What's it called?
The PlayStation Plus and the premium PlayStation Plus Premium. That's what it's called.
It's the highest tier one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you have to pay for that. Yeah, what's up?
That's the one. I'm the middle tier. I've already like gone above and beyond what I wanted to pay, and I'm in the middle. I can't imagine going any further than that. But I do like the idea of being able to like stream from the cloud. I would say that I've had not great whatever experiences with the PlayStation Cloud. I've played some games where it's like, oh, this is lagging a lot. Is it my internet? Is it the cloud? I don't know. But I am interested in the Portal because I love the idea of PlayStation on the go. So
yeah. No, the Portal's great. I still use it from time to time. It has the haptic feedback. The screen's great. It feels great. The only thing feels different is what's it called? The joysticks. They're a little looser comparatively.
Oh.
But this is what might get you more excited.
Go on.
I'm thinking about getting a PlayStation Plus subscription now.
Okay. You don't have one of those?
No, I don't. I don't have one because I didn't want to spend any money. I had so many prices already. But when I saw that, if you get it, and then because I listened to your episode last week and you were just talking about how all the good deals that you got and how the way that you were describing how you were able to just download a game and play a game.
Yeah.
Whenever you wanted to, just kind of opened my eyes a little bit. And now that I've been playing PlayStation for a while, I went through the game catalog and I was like, holy shit.
They do have some good stuff.
I could just like test that out real quick and see what it's like. and not fully have to commit. Because you're right, it's like $70 for a game, or
you get it on the Game Pass.
Yeah.
And I would say this: very few times have I been burnt on the Game Pass on either PlayStation or Xbox. Very few times. Mostly, it is a very solid deal. Previously, one of the things that happened is my son wanted to play Little Big Planet 3, which was previously, I have it on a disc somewhere in the house, but it was on the PlayStation subscription. So I was like, we already have it downloaded digitally. And then he came home one day and it was locked. Sometimes they'll take a game off. And so it's like, so it's downloaded to the console. I can see it, but I don't have access to it. That very rarely happens. But when it does, it sucks.
But looking at the price, like say if I do want premium, so I can do kind of cloud playing, like whenever, like I'm vacationing or whatever. It's there's a deal right now where it's like $112. Okay,
get that Black Friday deal. Get it.
But then there's also like say after that year, the next year it's $160, and now that sounds like a big price. It's like wow, that's very expensive. But I mean, how much? What is 160 divided by 70?
Yes. Like take that and just go once a year. You pay that price, and you have access to it all year long. Ed, the one that's going to get you on board for this, okay? The PlayStation Premium gives you access to older model games like PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3 games. So you're thinking of like what was that medieval game? Okay, Prime Medieval, whatever. You know what I'm talking about? This guy with the skull. And he had whatever. Anyway, there's games that you can play that are like nostalgic games.
Yeah.
That you don't have access to regularly on a
but
PlayStation
exclusively that have only been PS games.
Yeah, probably.
No, that's fine. I'm just clarifying. I'm not trying to.
But for a while, there was only PlayStation. So like those early PlayStation games, it's like, oh yeah, those were just video games.
Yeah. Like
PlayStation, Nintendo. You might have seen that crossover or whatever, but
sure. Remember that game Killzone you and I used to play all the time on PS2?
You can play Killzone on the PlayStation subscription.
Yeah.
All right, I'm telling you, I'll gift it to you for Christmas. It's fine.
Whoa!
Last time I wanted to get you guys Costco memberships, and you guys were like, "Nah, we don't really shop like that." And now I'm like, let me fine tune it. Let me get you guys what y'all want.
No, I when I thought about that, I thought of you. I was like, oh, he's going to be very excited that I'm finally going to be jumping on that bandwagon.
I'm blown away that you don't already have it. It's such a I was first turned on to a Game Pass with Xbox, and I just couldn't believe. And speaking about being burnt, just a quick little Miguel tangent. I was so excited for the Just Cause franchise. I loved number 3, and 4 was coming out. I paid full price for 4, Just Cause 4. The game is a little so whatever, but I was really excited to play it. I paid full price day 1 to get it. 7 days later, it was on the Xbox Game Pass free. For free. And I have since, that's why when I talked to last episode about, I'm very patient now.
I'm going to wait.
That really was the one that did it for me, because I was like, oh, I fucked up. I paid too much money for this game and I could have gotten it for free. So that's why I was like real preachy about that last week. So no, you should absolutely have that. I think the subby is great, especially because like you're so into subbies. Like you get everything,
Yeah.
Wow. All right. So that was a quick little tangent.
I'm excited for you both.
With such a disgusted face, I'm excited.
Hey,
for
Ed.
you both.
Sorry, real quick, Ed. Real talk. If you had to think, what's my PlayStation schedule? I have a PlayStation now.
Yeah.
When can I play it? When is me asking you? When can you play it?
Generally, that like I could put aside a night here or there. Like this month has just been really crazy, as you guys know. Like,
why?
You guys? Well, we've barely not seen each other, and I haven't even been able to play like FIFA or anything like that.
It kills me that FIFA is the one you keep going to. You're like,
because that's a quick one. I could go
I have
and
time to unwind, I'm just gonna play FIFA.
FIFA, because it's a quick 12 minutes. Fortnite is a process to get like. I have to like sign on and shit, get online and whatever, and then
it takes a while to get into a match. I'll say that 1,000%. Like you log in, you're clicking in, you're waiting 2 minutes, you're in the sky, then you're finally.
Why do you guys think I'm always dancing when you guys hop into my lobby?
I could tell Sarah. I could look Sarah straight in the face. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna have a 15-minute football game, and then I'm back into reality.
That's
you know
fair.
what I mean?
That's fair. That feels
And
like
it's like quick and easy. I was dabbling in Mad Max for a minute there, but that is also one of those committal things.
Yeah.
You don't want to just play it for 15 minutes. You want to kind of actually make progress. And then with Fortnite, like, I don't want to play it without you guys. I'm scared. And it's more fun with you guys, you know what I mean? And I have my chances of survival like way up there if I'm with you. But yeah, it's just been a crazy month so far, but I'm so ready. Coming into this Thanksgiving weekend, we're going to make it happen.
We're going to have, yeah.
You know what else is happening? Lilo and Stitch coming to theaters soon, live action.
Let's talk about things we don't need. No, I'm just kidding. We talked about live action last week. It's Moana, How to Train Your Dragon. Now we're getting Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah,
like we are really in the era of quote unquote live action movies.
Because God knows there are just no more original ideas anymore. What are we going to do? We must remake everything.
I have said this before. My son watched the live action Lion King more than he watched the cartoon one on his own.
Sure. That's
and
insane.
It's like,
insane.
And maybe you think, maybe you're judging me. You go, you're a bad dad, Miguel. I understand. That's not the journey I want to be on. But at the same time, I think we said this previously, that just shows it works, you know? Their model is working. They want to scoop up those new generations and go, here's a property we already own. Don't you love this? And they're like, oh my God, it's amazing. And it's like, okay, you know.
Is he excited for Mufasa?
We haven't really talked about it, to be honest. Yeah.
And that's like by Barry Jenkins and everything.
Yeah, I'm going to show him Moonlight first, and then we can talk about Mufasa.
It's like, hey, like if you don't like this, you're not going to like Mufasa.
Let's get on the same page real quick. It's like the poster for Mufasa is just the 3 versions of Mufasa as he goes from young to
old. Purple, blue, and like.
But like one of them is like the cartoon Mufasa too. You're like,
yeah. I can't wait for that journey. That's great.
Yeah, we'll see. Lilo and Stitch. So
Lilo and Stitch by Lily. You're talking about Forrest. Just enjoying The Lion King. My daughter also is genuinely excited about this one. She thought, you guys remember, what was it, Comic-Con or something, or the Disney 23? D23,
yeah,
and they did they had that like
when he
teaser.
bursts out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she loved that. She ate that up. And so I showed her this one, equally as excited. Wow. She really likes Stitch. And I mean, that's the whole point of the movie. Like, that's what people enjoy from that movie. And I gotta say, I mean, this is the thing. It's like, it's this frame by frame redo, essentially, of an animated movie, which animated movies can just like hit those levels of imagination that just sometimes don't hit as hard on the live action, especially when you're translating it from one to the other. And like, again, with the frame by frame, it's a little tedious, especially if they're not offering anything new. But I did enjoy the fact that, I don't know if you guys remember this, obviously it was a long time ago, but when Lilo and Stitch did come out in theaters, there was this series of marketing posters and or trailers where they would highlight a old Disney movie and then Stitch would come and crash it. There was the Aladdin one. I want to say Beauty and the Beast maybe, or something like that. It was a mix of them, but they started doing that with this one. And I'm pretty sure there was one, they had one just today that dropped. It was a poster of Stitch, and he was trying to break one of those coconuts from Moana.
Oh, that's cute.
So they're already like kind of merging that. I like that idea. That's fun. Again, like you guys were saying, is like they're reaching that newer generation and like bringing those characters to a younger audience. So I enjoyed that a little bit. Like, that was a fun thing about the original movie. They can play with that a little bit. You know, he looks cute. He looks exactly like you would imagine a live action Stitch. And I mean, even if it is a play-by-play, I'm sure we're going to end up taking Lily to see this. But yeah, I don't know. I'm quick to judge about the Lion King thing, but like I have to admit, Miguel's right. It's just it hits some of these, at least some of these. I'm saying like not all of them. Like she has expressed no interest in some of the other live actions. Little Mermaid was a big one for us, I guess. But that's not a movie that she has readily wanted to return to, so it's just, it's one of those things. It's whatever appeals to you, the characters or whatever. But I don't know. It could be fun. It's Lilo and Stitch. We'll see how it pans
I think
out.
what makes it tough with these like live action versions is obviously they're going to sing the songs again. And then when I go to my Alexa and ask her to play a certain Disney song, just like, I'm in the mood to hear a whole new world. And then it plays like the new version. I'm like, no, God damn it, not that one. And then I have to go online, look like the actual name of it. And it's such a pain in the ass.
Yeah, there's nothing more jarring than hearing Will Smith's voice when you're expecting Robin Williams.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Can we just split those universes like Marvel DC? Like, let's just do real live action like any other two shouldn't touch,
Alexa, play the live action.
Yeah, exactly. Like now it's like dirtying up the Spotify mix for like Disney songs, and it's just like, well, shit, this kind of sucks now. But it's okay. I'm not a kid, obviously, so your kid's enjoying it. I haven't seen a lot of the live action ones, but will I see Mufasa? Who knows? But we did watch Gladiator 2, so we're going to talk about that right now. Was that not a good segue? You didn't like that one?
we were talking about Lilo and Stitch, and you were like, anyway, we're going to talk about Mufasa later. We're not talking about Mufasa right now. No, it's good.
Do you guys want to talk about Stitch some more? I mean, I feel like it was just him walking through the dirt, and I was like, okay, fine. I put it in there because we didn't have that much, news in the doc, and I was like, I got to put something in here, so I just threw that in there. We usually have like 6 trailers that we're talking about. So
it's been quiet. It's Oscar season. Nobody's promoting shit.
Miguel's favorite season of the year. Gladiator 2. Gladiator 2, what is the description from Google? Years after witnessing the death of Maximus at the hands of his uncle, Lucius must enter the Colosseum after the powerful emperors of Rome conquer his home. With rage in his heart and the future of the empire at stake, he looks to the past to find the strength and honor needed to return the glory of Rome to its people. This movie is directed by Ridley Scott, starring Paul Mescal, Pedro Pascal, Connie Nielsen, Denzel Washington, Joseph Quinn, and Fred. What do you guys think about this movie?
I'll go first.
Thank you.
Well, you guys know how I felt leading up to this movie. I haven't been quiet on that fact, and I think we all have been equally apprehensive maybe about a 24-year in the making sequel to a movie that won like Best Picture, is iconic, and I think for at least 2 people on this chat, we voted as our favorite Ridley Scott film too.
Same. Same.
Yeah. So, so anyways, with that being said, expectations were, both high, but also like
low,
grounded realistically, given Ridley Scott's latest stuff. But overall, I just found it kind of disappointing, a little overindulgent, superficial, and subsequently hollow. And you guys better be glad that I wrote this down, because I've had a few drinks, but this is going to keep me. This is going to keep me grounded. It's basically us like entering into Ridley Scott's sandbox. It had like a few entertaining elements or interesting elements that came up, like that I would have seen, like I would have enjoyed seeing expanded upon. But this movie loses, I mean, with the spectacle and everything, it just never quite hits as it should, and never reaches the dramatic heft of the or the triumphant heights of the original film. And it sucks to make that comparison, but it's also this movie really depends on that first movie.
Yes.
Especially if you haven't seen it, which I can only imagine. But yes, the action looks pretty amazing for the most part. Like a lot of the visuals obviously have advanced over the years, but it just all feels so hollow and extravagant for the sake of just doing these special effects, but without ever establishing the stakes involved through all of the fights, basically, for me. And it just felt more indulgent again. Each fight kind of comes and goes and kind of fizzles out without much of a conclusion. And before we know it, we're at the climactic battle and the battles where everything's thrown on the line, and you're just like, do I even care at this point? Am I that invested with any of these characters? Which brings me to the acting and the characters. It's just you have a tremendous cast here on paper, but all of the lead characters are spread so thin that it's hard to care about any single one of them. I know a lot of people are talking about Denzel Washington. I am too. He does the most scenery chewing in this film, but that's mainly it. I think a lot of the dialogue feels wooden and uninspired. It really just flows from one sequence to another, and you feel that with the editing and how the scenes develop and the story develops. I know I'm rambling here, and we can get more into it. But just I just feel like Mescal is a good actor, but he just feels stiff and uninspired, and we don't have some of the hardcore dialogue from the first Gladiator. He's not as memorable as a character, I don't think, to any fault of his own, but he isn't given enough time for us to get to know him as we do Maximus in a short period of time in the first film. You really get to know who Maximus is as a character, but they really just kind of throw everything at you here. And his screen time feels split between Pedro Pascal's character. And so by the time that climactic fight that's been teased in the trailers comes, you feel I don't really know these guys. I don't think they really get down to it. And ultimately, I felt like the fucking ending was cheesy as hell just because it pulls so much from the first film. And also, this is the second time that they've said this is going to be the fall of Rome, but one gladiator is here to save it, and it's going to go back to normal, which obviously historically that never happened, but also it would be more interesting if it didn't let Rome fall apart. That's obviously where he's teasing. There are just so many characters and so many things going on. It was hard to hone in and immerse myself fully into it. It just felt just spectacle. Look at what I can do, but without any of the emotional, dramatic weight to it. I'm sorry I went on for so long. I've got way more thoughts, but overall, I just felt disappointed. Yeah.
No, I'm glad you wrote all that down. That was that was really well said. And I didn't feel like rambling to me. Miguel, what were your thoughts?
I feel like we can go ahead and wrap it up now because Ed just basically said everything we were going to say this entire episode anyway. So, I mean, it's hard to follow that. He's right. I texted Ed on the side after the movie. We both happened to see it on the same night. And kind of around the same time. I was kind of blown away.
We both got out at around the same time.
I knew walking out, I was like, I bet Ed is really processing this at the exact same time. And we sent a couple of really long texts back and forth to each other, and I was like, man, I can't wait for Luis to see this so we can talk about it. But yeah, I would just say my overall, what I said to Ed previously was my overall kind of takeaway from it was this movie just felt very cliche. It was just very, I mean, Ed really used the words shallow. That's very true. Just not very, they just didn't give enough to everyone to really let anything land. I broke it down into a general thought was the point being it was too cliche, and then I talked about story and I talked about actors. But I just feel like most of the actors were really good in this movie, and I thought a lot of performances were very interesting to a point. But it was never the actor's fault that I was bored, you know, with the exception, I had one kind of major critique about one actor, which I can save here in a minute. But I just thought overall the performances were really good. No, I'll say it then. Okay, listen, this is my first movie with Paul Mescal, and I understand he's very popular. I watched these interviews with him for different things, and he's very charismatic. But man, he was the one that really fell flat for me in this movie. I just thought there's a couple of things that I felt were a little one note across the board, but his performance in general was just so flat.
One note, yeah.
And he had these really big moments, you know, on paper that I'm supposed to like, oh, I'm on the same page with you. I want to stand behind you and I support you, but I was just like, I'm not really getting what I'm supposed to from this. And it didn't really read very well. My other big complaint about his character is I really wish we hadn't gone the route of him being Russell Crowe's his son. I wish that wasn't the case. One of the things I talked about with Ed was I wished he had been like a slave of Rome, you know, like not any part. It's kind of like the Skywalker saga, right? Like I don't need Rey to be a Skywalker.
Yeah.
I don't need him to be Decimus or whatever their last name is.
Meridius.
Whatever.
Meridius. Jesus Christ.
I hate his name in that first movie. It's like
fuck off.
These sounds these do not go together. But I just wish, because I one of the things I was talking about to Ed was like I wish that like the people of Rome had the dream of Rome, and him coming up as like a regular person and having that dream versus Denzel's character who was like, I'm coming back from slavery to be like exacting my revenge and tearing down this version of Rome to create my own like kind of horrible version. I thought that duality would have been like, that mirror would have been really fun. But because he was just like, oh, I'm the Prince of Rome, it just was like, oh, you're a Nepo baby, you know, like this shit's just being handed to you at this point. And I just think there were a lot more interesting things that could have happened. I was thinking about this today. This movie felt very akin to like The Dark Knight Rises to me. Like Gladiator is a super, like people say it's one of the best movies of all time, right? It's hard to follow a movie like that without just copying what they're doing or nodding to it the entire time. And unfortunately, I feel like this movie just was doing that the entire time. But to Dark Knight Rises was something that had a lot of parts that worked, but the overall story just didn't. It wasn't well written, you know? And I think that's where Gladiator 2 fell, was just the writing, the story was not there. It just did not really hit in the way it should have.
Yeah.
Now, Luis, tell us, this was your favorite movie of the year. Go ahead. Oh, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Guys, okay. I should have done this movie, but I already loved it. No, I'm kidding. So let me give you a little context to kind of my background before watching this movie. Obviously, you've listened to the podcast. I've been hesitant to watching it. And once it got released and Wicked was released, there was a lot of discourse on the internet about what was really good and what was really bad. And everybody was raving about Wicked. Miguel saw Wicked, so he could give his own personal opinion about that later in the podcast. But it was, you know, people loved it. And then I hear people, you know, kind of saying this exact same thing on the internet. Like, oh, it's really flat, really boring, blah, 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 blah. It's not that great. It's just like, you know, he's always putting his hands in the dirt, you know, and he's always saying honor, and all those things and like calling back to the other movie. And so I was pretty well prepared kind of going into it, even though I didn't really look for spoilers. Just the general like aura of the movie was already out there.
Same.
I already kind of consumed that and was prepped for it. So I went and watched this literally last night at 10. Well, I went to 10:50, but really it was 11:20 because of 30 minutes of trailer. So at 11:20, I started watching this movie. So I was a little bit delirious as I was watching it. And then the first moment where I saw the Gladiator 2 split in between, I was pissed.
2 eyes.
I was like, this is bullshit. Gladiator. What the fuck is this?
I texted Ed that a couple nights ago. I was like, if he does Gladiator 3, I'm sorry, Gladiator. Like the 3 eyes. It's
Who thought that was a good idea? Like, oh, that's like an idea.
No.
Like, oh, we could do this. But then you take a second, you're like, no, that's a bad idea. You know, and they just stuck with it. It didn't look good. And then I also hated that like paint intro where it just felt like it felt like a filter you could put on Instagram. Just like putting stuff on. What's that?
The overture, and he's used that effect in I want to say Robin Hood. He used that for the end credits.
Hood. Oh, okay. Yeah. Wow.
I would say that like
kind of that oil painting look.
It just looked like I wanted more. Like I could have seen more detail. It just looked like too. You
simple. You guys know.
Well, it looked like a filter on the movie.
Yes.
You guys know.
That's all it looked like, and that was the frustrating thing about it.
You guys know, like when you go to see a Ridley Scott movie, it's a Scott-free production, and it's that guy. He runs and then he turns into the bird. Yeah. That's exactly what they were doing. Ridley was like, "I got someone for this. Hang on, let's go do that same thing."
It rolls right into it, and I was like, "Oh wow, it does kind of flow." But the Scott-free one that looks kind of cool, but this one it just didn't translate for whatever reason. I
tell you what though. I'm sorry. No, I don't mean to go. I was just saying on that point alone, if that had been the only way that they acknowledged Gladiator and gave you the setup you needed to know, that would have been fine. You would have been like, but oh my god,
they kept going back to it so many times. I couldn't believe how many times they actually.
It was every scene, and it was every time a character had another character that they were revealing something. They had to be like, and also by the way, Gladiator.
Well, do you remember when Maximus did this? We're going to tie this into what he said.
Yeah.
No, it was so ham-fisted. It was lazy as hell.
That's what I mean.
Here's the thing. I love, in theory, I love the idea of potentially like taking Maximus's story and stringing it onto the fall of Rome. Even like historically inaccurate or whatever. Like, that's fine.
We don't care about that.
No, commit to it, but it's like it's the Skywalker effect where you feel like you have to keep it. The only way to keep it compelling is tying it to that first movie. Where in fact, if you had actually honed in on one of these characters, kept Denzel as like the surprise villain, keep a crazy emperor, who's like leading Rome into destruction. But have somebody who's manipulating it and bringing out the worst in Rome also.
Right.
And ending on a dark note. Like, we got that earlier this year with Dune Part 2, but sometimes it's all right to end a big epic.
Infinity War
on, like, a sour note.
Is there a third one that's coming out?
Of what?
Gladiator? That's what he said. He wants to do
talking a third about one. It. Yeah.
And it's like...
Okay.
But here's the thing. The ending... It's just like... the end of the first one ended, the gladiator gave his life, the general gave his life for the betterment of Rome, and Rome would thrive. But then this is the exact same thing. You've got like a government that's falling apart, people aren't taking the emperors seriously, and here's a gladiator hero who's going to save it all, and then they shove in the whole like Prince of Rome and shit like that, and then it's like a happy ending, but it could have been... I feel like there was a turning point where it could have gone one way and been kind of devastating and tragic, and it went, not that it would have saved the fucking film at that point, but you know what I mean? It came about too cheesily where I was just like, Like, here's the thing. The overall effect of this movie just proves that Ridley Scott did more with less with the first movie. Mm-hmm. He had more of a budget. There was more of like you got the IP of Gladiator. It's automatically gonna make money. So let's just throw everything at it. What do you want to throw in? Fucking baboons. Let's put sharks in the fucking Colosseum because that makes sense. Hang
on, we already said we were going to ignore the historical accuracy.
No, it's not the inaccuracies, but let's talk about technicality and practicality. And
where'd that shark come from?
Where did they come from? How did they fish those sharks from the ocean?
Just imagine,
it would have made more sense if they had done crocodiles, which from the trailers, I had assumed it would have been crocodiles.
You know how like you see some humanitarian effort will like scoop up a orca whale in a helicopter and like fly it to the other part of the ocean? That's the same thing with these sharks. They just filled like some sort of box, and and there's some horse drug this shark all the way,
and then released it,
and then dumped it like a goldfish into the Colosseum,
which is only a temporary like it's like a bag of water. Basically,
I would tell you this: people were like, I don't know the whole water thing. For me, that scene, the one thing that really fucked me up the most is, like, they were like, we're gonna ram this ship with our other ship, and I'm like, with what? With what momentum? You know, like this is about like a 1,400 square foot apartment, and you got 2 ships in here. How are you doing this? And they were like, oh, look at it, it crashed into this shit. And I was like, I don't know. I feel like it would have dented it at best. You know,
didn't get all that training that he went through by himself for hours and hours on end on the boat.
All right.
Yeah, that really just gave it the zhuzh.
I did have things I liked about this movie.
No.
That's fair.
I had some too, but here's the thing, and this is just kind of like as a prelude to what you're about to say, and I'll shut up. But it's just like there were moments that really were getting me hyped up that all just kind of fell a little bit short. You know, I'm just like, okay, I'm finally getting pumped up. Like, this is going to be cool. I'm feeling it. And it plays out, and I'm like, okay, this is cool. And then it just kind of fizzles out. So I'm curious, like, I'll see what your favorite moments are, and I'll add on to it. But that was my general feeling. And
I would love it, Ed, if you added nothing to the rest of this episode, okay?
Done.
You just keep pulling the rug right out from under me.
Yeah, look.
No, he's muted himself.
No.
Come back, Ed.
No, I'm just kidding. Like, I was surprised at acting-wise at some of the performances. And Luis, let me lock in with you about this, okay?
Okay, I'm here.
Someone who I was not expecting to be good and was surprised at how much I liked. I know Ed's already shaking his head. Mute your mic, okay, Ed? Just go ahead and do it. I liked Joseph Quinn in this movie, okay? I don't care, all right? If I have to die on this hill, whatever, all right? Yeah. I liked him. I liked that he was kooky and weird. You could tell they were like, how do we do Joaquin Phoenix's character with 2 people, you know?
Right.
And it was like they took all these elements and were able to kind of split them. The other brother, whose name I don't remember.
I think his name, I don't know his name either.
He looked and sounded like Joaquin in that movie. I think more so. There was a point where I was like, are you related to him? Like,
exactly.
Why did we make all these choices? Like, you feel very much like that character. Joseph Quinn, where he lost me in this movie was the gods have spoken.
Yeah, I was I was like, you're pushing a little.
Okay, we're doing it. But he had some really great moments in other scenes. I was like, damn, you're talking to Denzel like that? Like, damn, that's kind of fucked up. You know, like, I would be scared to be in the same scene with Denzel. You know, who's been on the scene
1,000%
for 40 years. You know, it's like, I got to like be ready to go. And I felt like he was really holding his own. I liked Joseph Quinn's character, the whole brother aspect, the way they turn on each other, but it's all Denzel's manipulation. I was telling Ed, like, I really loved, very Game of Thrones style. I loved all the politics a little more than I loved the fighting. The fighting was cool, like 9 out of 10 times was pretty good. But the politics, it just was like, it was just too
choppy.
It was just too like appetizer-y. You know, I was like, I'm looking for an entree.
That's
like,
let
me get a little deeper into it. No, Ed, go ahead.
Just adding on, of course. But that's the thing, is like, so it just, there wasn't, and I know you guys would disagree with this, but I feel like this movie, like, if you kept all of the players in place exactly how it was, this movie needed an extra 10-20 minutes just to fill out that.
I agree.
All of those politicky scenes, and as well as the action scenes, because the politicky scenes would have given a little bit more weight and a little bit more character to what led to the. Because you had Pedro Pascal's character who was trying to overturn the emperors, and you just felt like that was kind of brushed aside, like the dramatic, like, gravity of that situation. It just felt like it was nothing compared to the bigger thing. But even then, you still didn't feel the weight of the conflict between Pedro Pascal and then Paul Mescal. You know, it just nothing was given enough. And the only reason that you start getting on board with Denzel Washington is because that guy just knows how to control a fucking scene.
Yeah.
And I mean, he does it so well. And I love the idea of Denzel Washington being a part of this world. You know, like, he sells it, man. But the thing is, it's just like he only gets a little dastardly a little later on, and again, he isn't given enough time to flourish. You know,
he's got some really cool shots though.
When 100%. But when Joaquin Phoenix like started getting like really twisted in the first one, you just felt like, oh my god, like this guy is fucked up in the head, and like you felt that. But it's just like everybody's like a little fucked up in this movie, and so fuck it. But let's throw them all in the ring. You know what I mean? I just lost that, and it just felt so unmemorable. There are so many scenes that I felt like I want more of this. Keep going. Keep going. But then they were already moving back onto the other scene. Got another fucking flashback with Maximus. That fucker's dead. I don't give it.
That's such a good point. Cut all of that flashback shit and just give every scene a little more. You know, give it a couple, 2-3 more minutes in every of the big scenes, and let it really sit.
Let Paul Mescal's character just be another victim of the Roman Empire and the expansion of the Roman Empire. Forget all of that tying to the first movie. Lucilla, you know, great to have Connie Nielsen back, but also underserved. You had the guy who played Senator Gracchus, who I know is like a legend on screen. He is so unceremoniously murdered in the final fight.
I had a double take. I was like, wait, did they just kill this guy? Like,
they killed the fuck out of him. Out of making like such a big deal out of him.
He was a secondary player. He was like a day player. You're out of here. You know?
Yeah, and at that point, I was just like, Ridley, you're a dick, man. You know,
no.
And like, this guy is so old, and you're bringing him back just to have him stabbed to death in the climactic scene.
There's an interview with Joseph Quinn where he's talking about how, when Ridley liked something, he would be like, "This is fucking cinema," and I'm just sitting here thinking, like, I don't know, like, cinema to who, Ridley?
The overall feeling is like the hype of when Prometheus was coming out.
He thinks he's still making that movie.
Well, the idea that, like, Ridley Scott is coming back to the Alien franchise. Thank Christ, he's going to save it. And then, no. And then, like, Ridley Scott knows how to make a sword and sandal epic. He knows how to make just that kind of scope, you know, and make it feel real. And
that's the thing. It's like the production design, the costuming, like the amount of extras that were there.
Yeah.
All of that stuff is great. And I think he does a really good job of designing his worlds in all of his movies. And it comes through like, you can feel it, you can touch it, and it's great. But that's where where he hangs his hat on.
It's almost like he just like is more so focused on the tangible look of it all. And he's like, obviously I know how to make a movie, so I'm just going to go A scene, B scene, C scene, and then we're going to wrap it up X, Y, Z. And it's like,
people are going to eat it up.
Can we not do formulaic? Can we can we try a little bit more here? Because I mean, some of these scenes looked really cool, but to Ed's point, like they just fell flat. I loved when Pedro Pascal was in the Coliseum. But then it's over, and then it's like, man, he had that one line where later Paul Mescal says, his character says, like, I just didn't see the man that he was. And I thought that was a really great line, but it's just kind of like nothing else gave it that oomph.
Yeah. And it's so immediately brushed aside, too.
Yes.
Because half the movie, you kind of forget that Pedro Pascal is even there.
Yeah.
Honestly, and I mean, and that's
again another one note thing, but I don't think it was performance. I think it was story. You know,
no, 100%.
Just they did not give him the things to work with. It was, I don't like the emperors. I want to rebel.
Yeah, I want to kill that guy.
You know,
kill that guy.
Like, that's it.
And I love the idea that like Denzel Washington made that happen. He's just like, I'll give you that guy's head for sure. I can make that happen.
Oh, man.
And that build up to that, but there just wasn't like enough emphasis on it. You know, it just like you didn't
compared
feel
to Gladiator, where it was very focused. You got to see,
you saw all the manipulation. Yeah, exactly. The personal struggle and strife.
and its manipulation. I was talking about shots earlier. There was one shot that I was like, oh my God, that was so cool. They give a little bit of a preface where it's like Paul Mescal's character is quoting poetry or whatever. And they're like, why do you know that? Why do you know that? Right? Like, that's the whole thing. And then there's that one shot where the mom starts repeating that poetry. Right. And Denzel, like, kind of to the side of the frame.
Oh, yeah.
To the thing. Like, looks over where he realizes that shit. And I was like, that shit's hot. All right, dude. That was a solid shot. And it was like, okay, he's making moves. And I want to see more of that. And every time he was on screen after that, I was like, yeah, baby, make those moves. Yeah. And then it was like, oh.
But then you guys remember that shot where Pedro Pascal and Connie Nielsen are talking? And then the lady servant in the corner of the room.
She's also doing the same thing.
She's like hugging the wall, like that. Whoever was,
I would have been like, "Hey, who are you? Why are you over there? Come here.
Yeah,
kill."
But the framing of that, the staging of it was terrible. Come on, that was just like a real, just like, like this is gonna get fucked up.
That's the thing. It's like it's a mixed bag of things where it's like, wow, that was really really cool, and then you have a mix of that, like immediately those type of shots.
Yeah, undercut by like something spoon-fed. It's just he's spoon-feeding visual imagery to you. It's just like, oh, by the way, in case you missed it, she's a spy.
Oh, right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
lazy.
I know I went into it like, this is so weird. It feels out of place for Denzel to be in this movie. And I was ready to critique and see, because like, you hear all these people going, I know he's a great actor, obviously, but it still felt like, wow, this feels like miscasting. Why is he in this world? It doesn't make sense to me. But then I watched it and I was like, oh no, I buy it. This is great.
100%,
I like it.
110%.
Yes. And I don't think in my head, I expected him to be really Denzel-y like in his other movies, but no, I felt like he still had kind of that like Romanesque accent. He was doing something with his voice that wasn't typical. I think he softened it and he added a little more eloquence to it. Yeah, that made me buy into his character a little bit more.
Stage English. Like he did that. He did the same voice for like the tragedy of Macbeth, where it just feels like more enunciated and
I would say, Ed, clear. This movie makes me want to watch that a little bit more. All right, like
I wish you would. I love that movie.
I'm kind of into it. I love Denzel, and
with Frances McDormand as his wife too.
Come on,
Luis, did you see that one?
No, that was the Apple TV product, right? No, I didn't see that one. I think it was during the pandemic, and I was obviously just getting wasted through that.
I saw that in the theater too. I went out of my way. I was like me and two other guys in that theater. But that is a good-looking film, and Denzel chews that up.
There was one scene, like right after a Gladiator fight or something, where Denzel comes around the corner and he almost daps him up and he's like, my champion, let's go. I was like, dude, I love the way he's playing with the language of this. Like, he's like,
did you hear that crowd?
I mean, I saw something today that was like two things. Okay, talking about historical inaccuracies, quote unquote. I don't give a fuck. But they were like, oh, he was reading a newspaper at one point, and the newspaper wouldn't be invented for 1,000 years. Who cares? Okay. There apparently Denzel has the line where he was like, hose him down, and they were like, they didn't have hoses. I don't care. Like he
did they get him wet?
And he was delivering dialogue in a way that we today would understand it, and I love him for that.
But it's just like classic Hollywood.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's one thing I appreciate about Ridley Scott is like, he doesn't get lost in the fucking accuracies and the details. He's making a Hollywood film, and he knows that. Like that, Hollywood has been doing that.
I would tell you this though.
What's that?
Ridley Scott, you say understands that, but there's a better director that understands I'm making Hollywood movies and I need to be able to give this Hollywood movie to the audience and let it also be good. James Cameron is a better director 10 out of 10 times. Okay. I
think the stats prove it. 100%.
They do. I mean, Ridley Scott understands, right? Again, it's what I was talking about earlier. He was like, he's I want to craft this visual look, but I'm just going to go by the book on every scene.
Right.
And it's like James Cameron comes in and is like, my by the book is also like at a higher level.
Mm-hmm.
No, I said it here. You heard it here first, okay?
No, I agree, because, like, guess what? Avatar 2 was way more emotional to me than the first one.
Yes.
Because he pulled me the fuck into that, and I was like, yeah, I'm here for it. Like, is the storyline cliche as hell? You bet. Is the dialogue a little hammy? Yeah, but I'm already 100% engaged with this. I care about each and every one of these characters. As much as they annoy me, I do care about what's happening. And whilst, yes, there are some cool elements and characters doing cool things, it just never hits that kind of level because you don't get to know those characters first.
There was not one time that Paul Mescal gave like a rousing speech, and I do think this was a little bit on the actor, okay? But I would say more so on the script.
I think 100%, let's say 90-10.
There were moments that I was like, I am not connecting with you on this.
No, 100%.
And
I think because here's the other thing too, is like this is a guy who's supposed to be, he's fallen from grace, he's lost his family, he's a slave, now becoming a gladiator. The guy has like way too much of a smug attitude about becoming a gladiator.
Why are you smirking so much?
Why are you smirking so much? He's probably just like, I'm a gladiator too.
There was a moment where he was like, my wife is dead and I'm sad. Why are you cracking so many jokes? He's
just going on. He's just going on. But I've seen literally one other movie with Paul Mescal, and I mean, I know he's a thoroughly capable actor, as much as anybody knows that Pedro Pascal is a thoroughly capable actor. Joseph Quinn, I feel like the jury is still out because, again, I didn't get to know him as a character. I did like what I saw. I liked what I saw of both of those two guys, but I do feel like they were also underserved and like, here's another crazy emperor kind of deal.
Can I tell you, I think Joseph Quinn's like worst scene in the entire movie that I was like, I'm fucking out. Okay. Like, what is he doing? Right. Was when they gave that prosthetic head to Denzel and he put him on the thing.
That was prosthetic.
I said, Joseph Quinn, you're ruining the movie. Okay. Like, this is terrible. No, the whole movie kind of like the worst visual up until that point was the baboons in that first scene. But the rest of the movie is like, okay, we're pretty good. And then Denzel brings that bag out and he smacks that head on the table. And I was like, here we go. All right. I
was here for that. I was here for that, but it did look a little silly.
I was also here for those baboons for a little bit too. I don't know. I was on vibes. I was more. I know they looked bad, but when they came out, I was like, "What the fuck are those things?" Like the design of it looked like alien-esque, and I digged it.
Imagine it looked better. Okay, that would be the most terrifying thing in the world.
Yes, if you were in a room, it was better done. But the design of the thing was really good. Yeah, I liked it. But also, it
was absolutely terrifying. I watched Ad Astra a while back with Brad Pitt, that space movie. There's a whole scene in that movie where he goes to a space station and he has to fight a baboon in space. And it's like, you know what? Honestly, throw a baboon into any scene. It's kind of gonna raise the tension.
It's gonna get weird,
This shit's fucked up.
That baboon scene was probably had like, Ed, you were talking about how some of the fight scenes, they didn't really have a story to them. They just kind of happened and then they fizzled out, and that's why it didn't really leave an impact. Like, I think throughout this movie, there's some really cool kills that happen. Like the fire explosion in the boat. I was like, oh shit, I didn't see that come in, and just people's heads being sliced off, just the way that it was done. But then there was like really no rhyme or reason. The beginning or the end, it just kind of happened and then went away. I feel like the baboon scene was the only one that kind of held something, where it was like that they were fighting. He ripped off his teeth, and then you saw the baboon get scared, and then he attacked. And then after a while, he's like, I'm not going to fuck with this guy anymore. I'm not fucking with Paul. And then Paul's like, no, I'm fucking with you.
No,
and then he bites his arm and he like bites him and he chokes him out. And that was like some sort of give and take happening between two characters, where like throughout the rest of the movie and some of the fights, I didn't really see that give and take or like progression in story.
Yeah. I know it's a slippery slope of just like what coulda, shoulda, done. But what I feel like they should have leaned into more is this like for Paul Mescal specifically. His character losing everything, and just this untethered rage. And I would have preferred more to see that be his undoing, more than it's actually just a journey for him becoming a leader. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I appreciate what they tried to do with it as far as him and Pedro Pascal coming together, but I think also him just tipping the tides into the human instincts of just revenge and stuff like that. You just let him try and tear Pedro Pascal apart, whilst Pedro Pascal is trying to not kill him because of his association with Lucilla. If they stuck with that storyline,
it could have been deeper. It could have
been deeper. It could have felt, but all of a sudden
everything could have been deeper.
He just became the the leader, the Messiah of Rome or whatever.
I agree.
Marvel Messiah, Marvel Jesus.
Let this be like a dark ending.
Yeah, let it be.
Rome,
especially if you're gonna force a third one.
Fall.
Yeah. And that's the thing is in a different movie, Pedro Pascal's death would have been that meaningful.
Let me say something real quick.
Oh,
Pedro Pascal, he had a stacked year. Okay, he did 4 or 5 projects in 1 year, and he got in and out of them so fast. And every time we see him, he's dead immediately. All right. I just assume that's the formula for Pedro Pascal, and whatever project we're about to see up until Fantastic Four.
Yeah,
he's dead in all of this.
Yeah,
he knows how to do a death scene. All the way back to Game of Thrones, right?
His best one has been in Drive Away Dolls.
I was gonna say Drive Away Dolls, man. That's insane that you said that. All right, good.
Man, I died laughing when he died, and it was so fucking great.
It's hilarious when people die.
But specifically in that, especially because it's Pedro Pascal, and especially because of how it happened. Wait, is this a bit now? You haven't actually seen Drive Away Dolls, have you? Yeah. Okay.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah, my bad. My bad.
It's good to acknowledge.
You were very convincing about it. You got me too. I was like, oh wow, I didn't realize he watched Drive Away Dolls.
No, put it
on Plex. Oh wow, I'm glad that he watched it on Plex.
Yeah, see, this is Plex coming full circle. Oh man, Luis, you've seen it though, right?
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So fuck you.
Yeah, the briefcase of dildos that they go around. Yeah.
But the whole
Yeah. No, he's great.
Yeah.
Anyway, I just assume Fantastic Four. I bet he dies immediately in that movie too, and they're like, we have to get the real Richard Reeds, and it's going to be John Krasinski comes back.
Oh my god!
Because you can't remember the name of the other one, Ian Griffith.
Who's the other one? Ian,
the Welshman.
Ian with 7 letters in the name Ian.
Yeah, 100.
Well, that's the Welsh. A G.
That's the Welsh for you, lad. Anyway, what else?
Let's all go around. Let's all go around and say one thing. No, Ed, I'm talking.
No, I got a bad thing. The music.
Can we get through this episode?
The music.
We'll do an Ed solo episode next week. I swear. All right.
No, I won't. I'm busy. I got a kid.
Let's all go around. It's Thanksgiving week, okay? Let's all go around and say one nice thing about this movie, okay?
Fuck.
Luis, we'll start with you.
I'm going to be honest. As much as we're shitting on this movie, I think I probably liked it a little bit more than everybody. Okay, how about this? I like this movie more than Napoleon.
That's great. I'll take it. I would maybe watch this movie one more time at home.
I would too. I'm trying to watch Napoleon one more time at home.
You're trying?
I'm watching the director's cut, so I'm having to watch it in chunks.
Oh my
god!
It.
Could you imagine a director's cut for Gladiator 2?
It needs it, just like Napoleon needed it. That's why I'm trying to watch it.
Okay, yeah, Luis liked it a little more than us. Ed, go ahead. Your one nice thing.
Can I start with a negative thing real quick? Because we haven't talked about it.
Do you understand?
Man, how hard? Just like that trailer, though. How hard did this movie need that Hans Zimmer soundtrack?
Oh, 1,000%. When it played at the very end of the movie, we are free soundtrack score.
Yeah, I
got up, and then when I heard it, I sat back down just because
You wanted to hear
I
it.
wanted to hear it
You
in
needed
the theater.
I know Sarah hated that. She was like, I gotta pee. Why are you sitting back down?
No.
Walk on.
That was like, oh, this reminds me of Gladiator. Oh, I feel like a kid again. And it just took me back because they literally just pulled that song from Hans Zimmer. Like
it was like they were.
Because I know that song beat by beat, and I was like, ooh, we're hitting that. Like, it was perfect. Yeah. And then it cut short to another song like do 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 do, and I was like, oh, fuck this, and then I left. But no, I liked the ending. I don't care if it was the rip. I like that song so much. Now
we are free. Oh, it's a great one. But I just wish it had been like throughout the whole movie. It was like they were afraid
Hans
of
Zimmer
trumpets.
Is like for John Williams to Star Wars. Hans Zimmer is to Gladiator. Like when he's 100%. Doing his whole like, my name is Maximus Aurelius, and like that score is like raising him up and instilling emotion. It's adding to the whole scene, and I felt like
it just felt like background noise. It just felt like
background earlier.
Yes. And then the themes that they pulled were from the first Gladiator. I mean, I don't know.
Anytime it stirred, it felt it was from the first movie.
You couldn't even say Maximus's whole name just now. Okay,
Maximus Decimus Meridius. Maximus Decimus Meridius. My name is Maximus Decimus Meridius.
But he was like, da 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 da. I just want to point out. Yeah, kind of. Da 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 da.
No, everybody knows that. Anybody who's ever loved that movie.
Maybe one of the worst names.
What does he say? Like,
my name is Maximus Decimus Meridius.
Of a murdered wife.
It's too many. It's too many sisses. It's too many sisses at the end.
On it.
Commander of the armies of the North, General of the Phoenix Legions.
Keep going.
Husband to a murdered wife. Father to a murdered son.
And I will have my revenge.
And I will have my vengeance in this life or the next.
I could have sworn you guys thought Gladiator was not good. I thought you guys hated that movie.
I don't think you're good. And here's a good thing. Here's a good thing I got to say about this movie.
Let's get back to it. Go ahead.
All right. I'm thinking now. Oh, okay. No. Genuinely, I was like leading up to it and going into it. That I forget the name they had for him, but it was a cool name. It was like something the Destroyer. The guy on the Rhino, that entrance, was pretty. I saw the movie on IMAX. I don't know about you guys, but that moment was kind of majestic. I wish again the score had been better, but I thought the visuals on that Rhino was solid, and I felt the weight and the intimidation of that fucking thing marching into the Coliseum. I was just like, oh shit, these guys are about to get fucked up.
But he was like, stay together. It's like, fuck you, and then he left, and then we never went back to staying together.
Exactly.
Like,
none of them.
What happened to that point? Are we not doing
after
that anymore?
Point?
Like, now,
after that point, the 10 other guys disappeared.
They disappeared. Where did they go? They were
I hadn't even thought about that. Yeah. You're so right. The one guy got fucked up,
and then Paul
got pushed to the side, and they were like, "Move."
Yeah. Same with the boat sequences. Like we got on the boat. We got on the boat. It's over.
Yeah.
And that's it.
The very end of the movie, when he's like doing that rousing speech and he has the statue of his like grandfather behind him, and it's supposed to feel like, rousing. Oh, we're doing this. Yeah. At some point, I was like, does he even know any of these people? Like, and do they know him?
Because you don't get to know any of them.
For real.
Yeah.
Like, strength and honor. And they're like,
like as an audience member, me stepping like into the shoes of these gladiators, why am I fighting for you? I don't know you. I don't have an experience with you like Maximus did in the other movie. So yeah.
Maximus.
Miguel.
What's your good thing?
Maximus
Decimus Meridius. Good.
Maximus Decimus Meridius. Father to a murdered son.
Hey, can I tell you guys something?
To a murdered wife. And I will have my vengeance.
Ed, this whole episode is you telling us something. Go ahead.
Oof. All right. Fair enough. No, you carry on. I'm just gonna hang on.
No, I love us doing bits. My favorite part of the movie, honestly, at this point, we've said it all. All right. When Pedro Pascal, he put the sword to his chest and he said, "May thy knife chip and shatter." I loved that shit.
That was a good moment.
That was maybe Ed laughed at that, man, and he's muted. All right, that was a good bit. I did like that scene though. I thought that was pretty cool. I loved that he was like whatever he said, and then they were like general, like they didn't, it was a.
Okay, I actually have a question. That made me think of something else. What did you think of the the death entering into the river Styx interpretation in this?
Oh, like all those shots of the river or whatever.
Yeah, it's like when someone dies, they cross the river Styx into the netherworld, and so this was kind of like, I don't know, a supernatural aspect of the movie
instead of the wheat field in the first movie. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
As a little, the only thing is like it felt like shimmied in because they did that in the first movie. Number one, and number two, they were trying to be like, oh yeah, this is what Paul Mescal is thinking about.
Speaking of the wheat, there was the one moment that I was like, are we about to get a Russell Crowe like cameo in this movie? Because I remember the interview where he was like, no, I'm not. 1999, I'm not in this movie. All right. And then at the very end, he's like, Father, speak to me, or whatever. And then they cut to the shot of the wheat again. And it did kind of look like, with respect, okay, like old, fat Russell Crowe hand. And then I was sitting there for a second like, no way they would pull Russell Crowe off of whatever island he's vacationing on to come like touch the wheat in the 1 second shot of the end of the movie.
It's like,
but then Ridley Scott, but Ridley would be like, Russell, like I need you.
Right, yeah. Yeah, somebody's been enjoying the afterlife. Ooh.
I mean, did you guys think that was him?
No, like at first I was like, that seems definitely not Paul Mescal's hands or whatever.
It was an elderly, weathered man hand.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, there was definitely casting for that hand. All right, brush that real quick. Go slow.
Stroke it.
Did we do it with Gladiator?
I think so.
Okay.
If you had to give it like an IGN rating, no, stop.
Definitely a 5 out of 10.
I thought it was a pretty
5 out of 10s are hot right now.
I would give it like a 7. Like legit.
I gave it
like a
3 out of 5, maybe.
Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah,
that's an Empire score. All right, that's good.
I gave it to the 5. I realized we could have a discussion about that, but I see
about ratings and scores.
Yeah,
that's a whole separate thing.
It is a separate thing. What would you give it, Luis?
Yeah, probably 7.
Okay, all right. Well, you had to hit first.
I agree with all of you.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we talked about that. We talked about Gladiator, but let's talk about this. Let's talk about this now. Some topics that we've talked amongst ourselves in our text chain. We're going to finally talk about it now.
Let's do it.
Miguel, you put AMC theaters in here because you went and saw. Oh, you did.
I fucking did. I did not. Because I know you guys are AMC bitches.
Oh yeah, I'm a AMC fuckboy, baby.
That's like the official card you guys get, right?
Oh
like
man,
AMC rewards
I'd
bitches.
wear that hat for sure.
No, when they hand you the card, they spit in your face.
Yeah,
you're like,
and then you say one more time.
This is where cinema does one thing or whatever. Nicole Kidman says.
No, Nicole Kidman. When you get your subscription, Nicole Kidman comes up and she hits you right in the left nut with her heel. She's like stepping in the puddle, and she takes the hood off, and you're like, "Thank you, Nicole.
Please another.
Please, I got one more.
Crush it. Oh, there she is. Ugh.
Shut the fuck up.
Oh boy. Okay, so yeah, we've been talking about, obviously this is the week of Glicked, and Miguel has been very excited about Wicked, as well as the whole world, apparently.
I don't put that on my shoulders. I think,
you know, deny it all you like, but here we are. Obviously, you know, this hit theaters, and immediately we started seeing like some things here. AMC posted a notice about audiences singing along to movies or to the movie. Obviously, this is a Broadway musical that's been around for a couple of decades now. But yeah, so people are coming to this movie ready to sing their hearts out. On top of that, just today, I saw that some lady who going to see it at an AMC theater got turned away because she was wearing, I forget the name of the Green Witch, but the Green Witch, she had witch makeup
witch
on.
Of the West. Yeah,
her name is Elphaba. You guys,
Elphaba.
That's not a real name.
I kept trying to say Galinda.
I just like for just like.
The pink one is Galinda.
Nice try, Diddy. Nice try, Diddy.
I know I'm the pop culture guy of the podcast, but like we know Elphaba, right? Glinda is in a bubble. You know,
she's the Wicked Witch of the West.
She's the Wicked Witch of the West. That's her name. That's what she's known for.
It's been 24 years. You know, like at some point
I didn't even know that song Defying Gravity until you brought it up when the trailer came out.
Blows my mind, and I'll talk more about that later.
By 3. Anyway,
I know nothing about this movie or play. Like, I don't know what happens. All I know is what happens in the trailer. So
she defies gravity. Anyway,
I'm making space for her right now. Okay.
the point.
I just want to go ahead and point out that I know automatically how the next 15 minutes is going to go. Okay. I'll just go ahead and sum it up right now. Miguel liked the movie, and he shouldn't even bother telling anyone else about it on this podcast. But that's okay.
Seeing it tomorrow, or I'm seeing it tomorrow, Thursday.
Yeah, no, who cares? Who gives a fuck?
I was going to see it today.
No, it's fine. But at the end of it, you'll still be like, Miguel.
No, I know what's going to happen. I'm making fun of it now, and then at the end of it, I'm be like, guys, Wicked was amazing. Like, you know me, I'm always I
sent the text earlier today.
I love it.
I sent a text earlier today and said, y'all, go see Wicked. And everyone was like, I was like, well, what the fuck, man? I was just saying go see the movie. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, no, the context of it was funny to me. I don't know if that translated, but I'm
not ready. I'm not ready for the next 15 minutes, but let's go. All right.
Well, hey, you were
talking about the movie. I'm over here wanting to see the movie. I made that post on our Instagram saying, damn, I guess I should see that movie. That's me personally saying that. Okay.
I gave you guys the list of 5 movies that I promised that I would only try and see this year. I can't be throwing another 2 hour and 40-minute movie in.
Can we just get into it now? Can we just do it now?
Yeah.
I would just say this. Luis, I understand you and Sarah, when you get a chance, you'll see the movie, okay? Ed, there's sometimes when I see a movie,
sorry, I muted it so I could sneeze.
Next time just leave it unmuted so you can sneeze and yawn in the middle of me talking directly to you, okay?
I can't control my sneezes.
You have a wife, you have a daughter, you have a girl dog, Bullet, okay? Like, I thought you were a girl dad, is what I thought you were, okay? But then all of a sudden you had a baby boy, and now all of a sudden we don't go see Wicked the musical on screen. Okay, never, forget the fact that it's like you went and saw Barbie last year for you, okay? Not your daughter, okay? But you were like, oh, I don't need to go see Wicked, even though the themes in this movie are actually super relevant to what's going on in our life now, today in this current year.
I don't know that, yeah.
Yeah, no. Oh, you guys didn't know that because you didn't go see the movie. When I said go see the movie, you said,
I'm trying to see.
Miguel, if I come to you,
motherfucker, last night, I could see a movie.
I got a question. If Miguel, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever, if I come to you saying, bitch, you should have go see the Wicked musical on Broadway, would you have done it?
Well, let me ask you this.
No. Let
me ask you this. No, I'll answer you. Did I fly to New York City to go see the Broadway performance of Wicked the musical? No. I went 10 minutes down the road, 2 exits on the freeway. I went to a movie theater and I saw the goddamn movie in a plush AMC recliner, okay, on the IMAX screen. And did you guys know this? Hang on. I'm sorry. We're doing bits the entire time. Hang on. Let me take a half step back for a second. I bought these tickets on Monday. There was 30 people in the theater. I bought the best seats. You guys, hang on. Can I tell you guys the seats I got?
Oh, God.
They were not the full back row, but they were middle. They were middle to the almost back row. I didn't have to tilt my neck at all for this movie. Okay.
Nice.
Solid seats.
Yeah.
I bought the tickets when there were 30 people in the IMAX theater. There's like a 300 seat theater. Okay. We showed up. We skipped the trailers. We walked in. Every seat in the theater was full. That blew. No, don't nod your head. Go, oh my God. There were 300 people at 12:30 p.m. on a Wednesday. There were so many people. I tripped over 17 people to get to my seat. Okay. Why?
Walk
big ass feet people. No, when I said plush recliner, I'm lying. The IMAX theater in my seat, it's one of those Spirit Airline fucking seats. Okay, it was
IMAX
so
is the worst
close.
Seat sometimes. I'm not
They crammed so many people. Okay. No, I came in pretty aggressive because here's the deal.
We didn't even get to talk what we're talking. Let's talk about it.
Oh, I did.
I've seen this movie.
Over.
I'm going to see the movie.
Skip over,
all I wanted to know were people singing when you were watching the movie. That's all we wanted to know. Is anybody
were
singing?
People wearing green makeup? You cunt.
Yeah. What was it? What was it like? What was the theater experience to see Wicked?
It was a full audience. Did they sing?
Okay. All right. Full audience. No singing. No makeup. Okay.
Great.
Dead silent through a lot of really great moments. Okay.
Wow, they did not enjoy it.
No. At the end of the movie, the moment the first credit came on the screen, the whole theater applauded.
Word.
See, this is what I'm talking about. Anecdotally, this movie, from what I'm hearing from everybody, it's like
300 people, like a plane landed on the Hudson River, applauded. Like we just fucking saw the thing.
I keep hearing people
of
talk
our
about
entire
how
lives. No, and that's what I'm getting so passionate about is because you got Ed's making fun of me because I didn't go see the Broadway show. I get it. I'm not a Wicked head or whatever we call it, or Wicked. You know what I mean?
Wicked.
A Wicked.
There we go.
Like to call it. All right. I'm not that guy. I don't like musical theater like that. But I walked away from this movie going, wow, that was actually really well done.
What did your family think? Just out of curiosity.
It was just me and Kristen. Kristen also she was kind of like you guys, didn't know the movie, the musical, didn't really know the big moments, this and that. And at the end of the movie, the big moment, right? Like when they get into like the big
I don't even know what the moment is. Don't spoil it.
I won't give too much away.
I talked to her later. Witch.
I talked to her later and I was like, did you know that's what was happening in that moment? And she was like, I had no idea. And I was like, okay, that's wild.
I mean, she's going to become the evil witch of the West. Like, that's like, obviously, right?
But baby, there's so many layers to it. And it's just
it's like, I'm going to bully you. And then actually we're friends now. And then, oh no, society doesn't want us to be like this. The end, but I'm sure it does it in a more graceful way.
I would tell you this, when you like see a movie or a game and you hear a spoiler and they go XYZ happens.
And
you walk away from it, oh, you ruined the whole thing. But then you sit down and you watch that thing.
I know it's going to be good. I want to see it.
Context in a way that you just weren't ready for.
Yes.
There was most of the movie. I'm not a musical theater guy. I was like, oh, we're doing the musical theater thing. Okay. But these two leads were absolutely stellar. Okay. Cynthia Erivo as Elphaba and Ariana Grande. Sorry, I'm doing my Larry David impression right now. Ariana Grande, you guys don't get that bit. That's an SNL reference, Ed. She was there. There was like I saw something before I saw this movie that they might be nominated for Oscars for this movie. Ariana Grande may actually be nominated for an Oscar for this movie.
That's so hard to believe from the trailer.
I would tell you simply because every single second of every single scene she's in, she is filling the space with her character. Like she totally understands who this character is, and halfway through they shift to like Elphaba, and then all of a sudden it's like there's this like battle of who are we paying attention to, and then all of a sudden Cynthia takes over, and I really think her final moment.
Well, I can't wait to watch this movie.
There was one moment at the end of the movie that I thought we're about to cut to credits right now. That line was so good. Like they're about to like Broadway play cut to black. You know,
like intermission.
Yeah, no, and it's kind of what it felt like at the end of it too. It was like, whoa, okay, I have to like step away and come back and see the rest.
I have a question for you, runtime wise. Did you think that it was like, definitely worth the full 2 hour and 40?
I was surprised because one of the things I read was the play the movie is like 2.5 hours long or whatever,
240.
and the whole musical on Broadway is that long.
Yeah.
So they split it up into two, right? And so the entire time I was watching it, I was like, is this the added scene? Is this the added song? Is this the added subplot? You know? But by the end of it, it all made sense. And I was just like, oh, okay. This is like, we're telling this portion of the story, and now you know immediately what they're going to do in the second half. This is what needs to happen to get us.
Did you guys watch Crazy Rich Asians?
I did.
It's the same director who did that, who did Wicked. And so that movie had a very emotional like through line. You know, and so I imagine he kind of brought that to this movie. I mean, obviously I haven't seen the play either, so I'm not sure. But executing it for cinema, you know.
I'm more so blown away that Ed, Luis, and Sarah are going to go see this, and and Sarah was pre-podcast when we were just chatting. Sarah was like, "I'm not going to go see this movie," and I understand and I respect that, but I'm also kind of blown away because it's like this was a genuinely good. I tell you what, don't go see it in the theaters. Watch it at home. Okay.
At this point, that's what I have to count on.
I get that.
Like
I get
if
that.
I'm, you know, if
I could try this.
I could try and talk. I could try. Mute yourself. No, I could get into that conversation with Sarah, and maybe I could talk her into it. It's literally just a matter of finding somebody to.
I get it if
watch
you
a
don't
baby.
want to like babysit the two kids to go see this movie, but I and maybe sitting at home. Right on the projector, I do think you guys would get something out of it. I do think your daughter would really get something out of it. Okay,
she's been curious about because obviously the marketing is everywhere.
I think she would really like this movie. I was sitting there thinking like we're thinking about Thanksgiving is this week. We're talking about Christmas movies we're gonna watch. This movie came out Thanksgiving, which I think was good because I saw a lot of families in the audience. I'm almost done. And I just was thinking, it's not a Christmas movie, but they really kind of framed it into like this half of the year, right?
Yeah.
Like this could end up being like we're watching Harry Potter right now this year. This could be the movie that every year we go, you want to throw on Wicked? Yeah, let's throw on Wicked, you know?
Okay.
I didn't want to get into it too much. I don't want to spoil too many things because you guys haven't seen it. And whatever. But I just would say, I had a surprisingly really good time with this movie.
That's what I hear. That's what I hear every time.
I cried a couple times. I thought the emotional impact was there. I thought the runtime, you guys, hang on. Half step back. You guys know me. I get a beer at the theater, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I pay for an overpriced beer. Oh, baby, you guys know me. I bought these tickets because I thought I was thinking about the Dolby Theater in my location where you can like go to the back row and like walk up to it and sit in your seats as opposed to like as opposed to like scooting over. No, at the IMAX, you have to scoot. So I had to scoot 17 people over to get to our seats. And then I was like, if I drink this beer before the first half of the movie, I'm going to piss myself. Okay. I was like, this is dangerous. Okay. So we had to like really kind of strategically plan out the drinks and the food. But I sat through all 2 hours and 40 minutes of this movie in the middle seat, unable to get out. And that's how good it was. I was having that much of a good time.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I keep hearing. Like that's what that type of like story is what's driving me to go see that movie. If I didn't hear that type of story so often on the internet, I wouldn't have gone and seen this movie. But
kinda
the before and after,
yeah.
But the before and after is the story that's dragging me. Not the advertising, not the trailer, none of that. It's the experience that people are having after seeing this movie is is bringing me in. Because the trailer did not make me personally want to see this movie, but
I thought this movie was going to bomb hard when I saw the trailer. I like everything looks so flat and 2D on the.
We're just gonna have to watch it, Ed. We're just gonna have to watch and then experience.
I mean, it makes me sad. And you guys know how much fucking FOMO like I'm getting by not being able to go to see every fucking movie I want to see right now. You guys know that I had to make my choices, and I did. I had to stick with that. If I could talk Sarah into it, then by all means we'll give it a good try. But it is hard shedding a baby.
A week ago, Kristen did not want to see this movie. Okay, And then I was like, I think I'm going to try to squeeze this in before the podcast. And she goes, well, hang on a second. Now I want to see it. Okay. And that level of FOMO, I feel like, is there for the general audience.
And I just don't want to like
this first couple of weekends is going to be like the theater kids. They're all excited.
Yeah.
But I just feel like, okay, there is something to be introduced here, you know?
Sure. And I think, like, going into it, I'm not a huge, like, Broadway guy. I do like musicals, but my musicals tend to be a little bit more classical. You know, the Broadway musical has always kind of bugged me. You know what I mean? It's very campy, happy-go-lucky.
Would you see a Fathom event?
Yes. I haven't.
That's all I need to know.
But
that's all I need to know. No. There's not one world in which that I would ever, in the multiverse of our lives, that I would ever go see a Fathom event play. But I wouldn't.
You can't even use your AMC A-list for it. You really have to pay for it.
Come on.
Louis coming in with the hard facts. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess I'll watch Wicked, and then I'll talk about it next week, and then after
I'll
that,
surprise you guys. I'll watch it.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't tell Sarah.
I only wanted to talk about it this week, by the way, so that we could have a thumbnail that is Paul Mescal Gladiator and Alphabet Wicked shouting at each other.
That's the name, Alphabet Wicked.
We're gonna that's the tagline. These are the tags, baby. I'm just over here talking
Alphabet
social
Wicked.
media. Alphabet Wicked
West
musical.
I talked about this in our text chain. Didn't get too much feedback except from Ed, but I want to hear from Miguel now. And now that I have you, you can't go anywhere. I don't
like being
question.
called out like that, but go ahead.
Have you ever heard of a spicy McNugget?
Oh, okay.
I never got a response when I brought it up.
I was busy. For someone who understands being busy at work, I happen to be busy at work. Okay.
I wish on text messaging I could leave a status like, "Hey, I'm busy right now," or like, "Hey, I'm at the movie theater," or "Hey,
as far as I was concerned, texting you guys, we weren't allowed to be busy. We have to be ready to respond at any time, all time.
For you, Ed,
to anything.
Correct. You need to be ready to go.
The pressure is so high.
No, I'll tell you this. I've been burnt recently. I had the chicken Big Mac.
Hold on. Have you heard of the spicy McNugget is what I wanted to know.
Hang on one second. All I'm saying is this. A classic chicken McNugget, right?
Okay.
I will eat 100 of in a day if I could, okay? But that chicken Big Mac kind of threw me off on the nugget texture. And I've never heard of the spicy chicken McNugget.
Okay.
But I will tell you this. The best spicy chicken nugget I've ever had, Wendy's. Okay. Wendy's has been on the scene. Okay. They have been pushing those spicy nugs. And I have been gobbling.
I think I'd rather have a Chick-fil-A spicy nug than a Wendy's spicy nug.
I'll fight you right now again. Okay, so for the next 15 minutes, I'm ready to go ahead and do this again.
Let me get some dirt so I can rub it in my hands.
My knife, chip and shatter. Okay, chicken nugget. Okay, like I don't
knife and shatter. I went to Texas this weekend. There were
Tell us.
And my sister-in-law Lily. She was like, I eat this all the time. I eat spicy McNuggets all the time. She's in college. She's a freshman in college now.
She gets it at U of H, right?
She goes to UH. And you know that McDonald's right next to the theater department?
Yeah, I do.
She goes there and she gets spicy McNuggets. And I was like, I gotta try them. And I never did, which is really sad. And I was like, well, maybe I have them at LA. I don't have it in LA. So
that's wild.
It's a regional thing. And I didn't know if they had it in Colorado, but
can you tell me what's the spicy of the spicy chicken nugget? Is it just like a couple extra peppers? Is it like Taco Bell does the Doritos Los Locos or whatever, you know? Is it like that?
Are you really asking like what makes a McNugget spicy?
I have no idea. I imagine it has a red hue
like the hot and spicy
and it's a little spicier.
Okay. You know what? At this point, I go, Ed, why are we friends? Okay.
Why are we giving this? You're giving this way too much credit.
I'm sorry that I tried to prolong the conversation. Okay.
Oh, sorry. He was being sincere. Go ahead, Luis. I thought he was just fucking with you. I genuinely thought he was fucking with you.
No, she loves it. It's like the one thing she eats all the time. She's like, this is my diet now. So,
do you like the hot and spicy McChicken in general, Luis?
Yeah, I'll eat that for sure.
Ask me.
Miguel, I know you do, baby. You introduced it to me, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Like, put that between a McDouble. Fuck yeah, baby.
We call that a McGangbang. Okay.
Yeah, I ordered one of those chicken Big Macs, and they gave me just a regular Big Mac, so I haven't tried to get it again.
I would tell you this. It is not worth it. Okay. I had a terrible experience with a chicken Big Mac.
Here's the thing with the Big Mac these days is like it's just too much bread. Not enough.
Too much bread. The sauce would have been fine. You know what? I tell you what, Luis, real quick, lock in with you for a second.
Yeah.
Something I've been kind of like thinking about.
Is
I kind of want to try a fish fillet. You know?
Oh,
I do too.
I was Miguel, like, I don't know. People kind of hype this up. Okay.
My cousin Kenny, he's really on board with that fish fillet.
Yo, and I bet you he'll tell you they got a lot smaller since he started eating them, you know?
I mean, what hasn't had McDonald's,
1000%,
right?
Everything's gotten smaller. It's got a nice bun to it, a bun that you want to slap. You know what I mean? And it's got a good sauce.
Say it again. Say it again.
It's got a bun you want to slap.
Hey, can we just like have a fish fillet episode? Let's do that next
time. You guys want to? I'll Uber it right now, okay?
When I was a pescatarian, I eat 2 of those babies and a side of fries. Just chop them in. Home.
All right, let's do it.
It's not Lent. I don't care. I'm having fish fillet. Huh? Cheese? No, I'm not having cheese on that.
Okay. So
I'm just fish and bread and sauce, and that's it?
Yeah. That's all I need.
Miguel's like, what?
And an orange juice.
Yeah, put an orange juice in there. Let's add a little sweetness to it.
No, I know Luis. So that's what I've heard.
In fact, I was drinking. This is orange juice right here.
It's so gross.
Fuck off.
It's so gross. Look, my coworker.
And that's a high C shit?
No.
My
This is like a Outback orange juice. It's actually a lot fresher than I thought it was going to be honest.
Wait, what do you mean Outback orange juice?
Okay, well the thing is
for McDonald's Outback.
Orange juice from Outback restaurant.
Things are expensive right now, so I ordered a Joey sirloin, which is the kids' like little meat, and then like some fries, and then it comes with an OJ. And I was like, yeah, I'll get that. It's $11.99 for a little steak and some fries, and it gets the job done. So, but you can't choose if it's rare or medium rare. You're going to get it well done. So that was the only disheartening thing about it, but
that's okay because it's for a kid, and that's what they assume.
It's $11.99.
Okay,
a kid, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, I get it. No, you're like the TikTok where you're like, and this is how you feed your family of 9 for $10, and then you eat the hard steak, and you go.
And you get 60 ranches. They won't even charge you. Just dip it in there, and it's like you're eating it raw. Okay, cool. Thank you for answering my question. That's all I needed to know. Miguel, one more thing, and then we can move on. Might not be what you even think what I'm going to ask you. Do you think when I say ha ha on a text message, do you not like it when I say ha ha, or do you prefer LOL? Okay, I want to hear. I'm not going to say anything. I want to that's all.
My problem recently is because I will come into a text message with something that I think is like pretty genuine and serious.
Okay, I'm sorry.
And then Luis goes, and I'm like, wait, no, I'm not ha ha. I'm being serious. We were talking about Simu. You sent that TikTok, the guy that plays Shang-Chi, and he was like, "Oh, we can't do a Simu
lookalike because there's a lot of lookalike impressions happening right now.
That's very trendy right now on TikTok is lookalikes." And he was doing a whole bit about how like his whole TikTok bit was like Asians look alike, quote unquote. I'm just saying that's what context wise what he was saying.
No, you heard it here first. Miguel,
and I said, Luis, actually, if he ever did one of those, you should go in for it because I feel like you would do pretty well in like a Shang-Chi like lookalike contest. You kind of you were like the Mexican Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
Okay. Like you have that vibe. And I was being very serious about that. And he was like, and I was like, no, haha. And then yesterday it was the same thing. I said something and you ha-ha'd it, and I was like, no, I'm not ha-ha'ing right now. I'm being serious. And the day before that, it was something similar where Ed was not responding, but Luis was, and he was ha-ha'ing. And I was just like, can we be serious for a second?
Okay, sorry. Okay, yeah, we can be serious. I think. Well, the thing is, I laughed because two things.
Right,
One is when I went to Colorado, we were casting each other. Remember when it was like, oh, if somebody played Miguel in a movie, if someone played Sarah in a movie, you know, we were all casting everybody, and you said Simu Liu could play me in a movie.
I was dead serious then too. Yes,
because I know.
Okay, all right.
So when you mentioned it again, I was laughing because I thought of that time when we were like talking about that situation. I was like, oh, what a great callback.
Okay,
you know?
that's now I feel bad. I didn't realize you were like personally relating to it.
Oh yeah. I thought it you know, I was just like, oh, that's funny to call that thing back again. You know. Also, you know, I just tend to like laugh and smile when I feel anything or like feel uncomfortable or whatever. Like I was talking about my what's it called? Remember I went to court and I had jury duty.
Yeah, they were like, and then he murdered her, and you were like,
no, people were like, so what was it? It's like, well, you know, it was crazy. It was like about a baby, and like it didn't do too well. And then
you're legit.
My coworker was like, why are
Joker.
you smiling when you're talking about that right now? And I was like, oh, I guess I am smiling while I'm talking about a baby. You know,
that's
not
great.
getting care that it needs. No, I don't know. I guess it's just a little tick that I have is that I like to smile. Okay, but I'll cool it on the ha-has,
you know what? I tell you what, if we're talking about our reactions, one of the things that I love about Steven, Luis, Ed, you're getting on to bits. Okay, one of my favorite things is when we react to a text message and then we immediately change the reaction. And it's like if you're watching your phone in the moment, you're like, oh, I see what you're doing. Steven's really good about that too. Like Steven and I will send a text message that are kind of the same thing. Yeah. And then I'll react or he'll react to my text and then I'll copy his react to my previous one. And it's like, oh, we doing bits, baby.
It gets there's a lot more layers to it now because it's not just the hearts and the thumbs up and the thumbs down. Now you can pick any emoji to react to. Yeah. So you have to be looking at when you see it change to another emoji, that's the best feeling in the world.
I tell you what though, Ed,
if you miss it, then you miss it.
Ed will randomly be like, nah, baby, I saw that text. And I'd be like, how is it the one time I unsend a text, Ed was on the phone?
It's so suspicious, too. I was like, why are you deleting that?
Damn. What a great episode this is.
Are we not talking about what we're into? I've been trying to talk about this goddamn AI for 5 weeks already.
We've been fighting it so hard. We just like... I cannot wait.
Okay, it's not even a big deal anymore, but I have to get out of my system about talking about AI for the love of God.
I'm going to mute.
Okay. You're going to what?
I'm going to mute.
Oh, mute. Well, that's not what I'm talking about first. I want to talk about something else, what I'm into.
What?
All right.
You just said AI.
I know, but I'm trying to preface it. I need to preface it with something.
Okay.
So that the rest of it is a good little bit. Okay.
We have about 10 more minutes. Go ahead.
10 more minutes? Why do we have 10 minutes?
Because his Taco Bell is about to arrive, Luis. Come on.
I have to go.
What happened? We used to do 2-hour and 45-minute podcast episodes. What happened to those days?
I'm trying to produce the producer. Okay. We're trying to stream it down.
I don't give a fuck. You know, if you want to drop out and never listen to us again, then go for it. Listen, this is what I'm into right now. I'm going to turn it on. I just got this device here, and I'm loving it. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. You see me right here? Uh-oh. What am I doing next?
Walking?
That's right, baby. I got a walking treadmill for my desk.
Oh, no. Oh, Luis.
This is what my manager used to do in meetings, okay? And then I realized I'm not exercising enough. So I decided to put on this bad boy. So I'd have a meal and then like, you know what? I can't go out for a walk. So I'm going to go for a walk inside. And if you want, you can go for a run. And usually when I'm editing or I'm really stressed out, oh man, I pump this thing up. But then I bring it back down.
That sounds so distracting.
No, well, the thing is,
start running.
When you
run! Sure. Oh my God, Luis, for the
and talk. The end of this
episode. I never run the entire. I've never done this before. I don't think this is safe. Hold on. The thing is, Ed, when you have ADHD, when you do something else, it allows you to focus on the other task because it's already kind of taking your attention. You know what I mean? So sometimes I'm stressing out about a project, and I can just take it all out through motion. You know?
Yeah.
So, okay, see, that's what I mean. Now that I set this up, we're going to talk about AI, okay? So, have you guys heard about the Apple Intelligence? Okay, let me slow down. Hold on.
Catch your breath. That's great. Oh, boy.
Okay. Apple released a new Apple Intelligence thing that came out, and some people are using it, some people are not. I thought this thing was going to be like the new ChatGPT. Guys, I've been using ChatGPT a lot now. It's my new Google, 1000%. I'm not using Google anymore. I'm asking questions. It's responding back to me, and it's pretty cool. So I thought Apple Intelligence was going to do the same thing. That thing is dog shit. Okay, that thing is the worst thing in the world.
I'm ready. Lock in. Let's go. Let's go.
Hey Siri, can you tell me what I don't fucking know. Can you tell me how to make a sandwich? Here's a link of a website. No, can you fucking tell me how to make a sandwich? Just talk to me as a person. I can't ask it anything without saying, here's a link to a website. I'm like, for the love of God, what can you do, Apple Intelligence? Nothing.
Alexa's already been through it, okay? Like, she kind of got us there. We've already walked so we can crawl or whatever, you know?
Yeah. What is going on here? It just you give me a flashy graphic and that's it. It's been infuriating to me. The only thing that I like about it is that it summarizes text messages, and I've been sending them to you guys. Have you been noticing that?
I wanted to bring that up because I feel like your summarized text messages are a lot better than mine. Because she'll just be like, Instagram has a couple links, and I'm like, no, tell me what's going on.
Yeah.
But when I have my headphones
works for text messages, I think it's the only good thing about Apple Intelligence. Is
my headphones, she'll tell me. She'll be like, Ed sent a reel from rebelscome.com. And you're like,
that's usually me. I'm usually the one sending that one. No, but I think that's fun. And then I think actually it can rewrite for you or check for you or whatever. But like the shit that I want is to like actually have a conversation with my phone and be like, add this to the list, add this to the calendar. Can you just give me an answer? Like, hey, who directed this movie? When is Gladiator 2 coming out? I asked it that. When is Gladiator 2 coming out? I was like, here's some website links.
And you're like, that's not what I'm here for.
Can you just search for it? Yeah. Like, how you are worth billions of dollars, Apple. Figure it out. Okay.
I would tell you this. 6 years from now, 6, not 10, not 8, 6.
Okay.
You're going to be like, damn, this AI is so good. Okay.
That's true. That, you know, if you know me, I'm always hating it and then I'm loving it. That's me.
You're going to be on your Apple glasses and they're going to be like, you know, that like
what's
rainbow color from the side is going to come in.
Yeah.
No. I feel like the next couple iOSs, we're going to really fine tune that. I love that you're doing ChatGPT for Google searches too.
Oh yeah. It's way more efficient. And I can ask you questions to get context. Like if I'm watching a show or a movie, or if I don't know something, I can just follow up and it automatically searches it out for me without me going. And the best thing about it is I lose advertisers. Like I'm not going through a website where it's like filled with ads, and it's so hard to manage that sometimes. Well, for now, of course, then it's gonna be,
enjoy it while you can.
I'm going to disrupt this for an ad for a fucking Blue Chew or whatever, you know, like here's 30 seconds of Blue Chew ad. No. I like, there's just too many fucking ads, and ChatGPT just cuts through all that. So I'm done. That's all I'm into.
Miguel, you want to see a movie called Wicked?
You guys ready to talk? You guys, no, forget it. Move on. I do have one more thing. Have one more thing.
You play Fortnite?
Ed, I tell you what, Ed. I think this is something you would like. Okay,
I'm locked in. I
did text Luis about this on the side. And then he goes, oh, you mean like Tycoon? And I was like, oh, fuck. I think you're right. Okay. So when you hop on Fortnite, okay. Hey, you guys know I like playing Fortnite, right?
Yeah. Donald Mustard. He worked in the game.
Stop. You hop on Fortnite and there's all these subsections of levels you can play. Okay. And creator made levels where people will go in and they will create their own content and you can play it. Okay. My son the other day was like, I want to play this Lego level. And it was like kind of Halloween themed, but it was like you hop into the server, you create your own city, you build all of these buildings, and you profit off of them. And then my son went to swim lessons or whatever. And then I played this game for 4 hours straight. Okay. I have never played Fortnite for this long. It is Lego Tycoon. You hop into the world, you have all of these resources you can mine, and you can build your city based on it. And every property you build, it generates more money for you. And I was getting to a point where I was making millions of dollars on Fortnite to create this city and mine all these resources. And I just like all of a sudden, guys,
I'm hella rich.
I fucking felt like Jeff Bezos. I was like, oh shit.
This is what it feels like to be loaded.
every second of my time here, I'm making millions of dollars.
Passive income up the wazoo.
Oh my God, I locked the fuck in. Okay. And every 5 to 10 minutes, they'll hit you with an event where you have to go like save the world for 3 minutes.
Oh, okay.
And then at the end of it, you have to kind of rebuild a couple of the buildings that you built because they were damaged in the storm or whatever. And then all of a sudden, I'm making billions of dollars on this.
This is Fortnite. This is an extension of Fortnite.
So if you were listening, I would tell you that Fortnite just has levels to it. Okay. Where you can play Fortnite, you can play Lego, Lego has its main thing, which is kind of like a Minecraft ripoff. Okay. But then they were able to take that functionality and creators were able to make their own little levels within that. Okay.
Sure. Okay.
And I'm about to share it with both of you to play. My son went off. He came back and he was like, "What?" And I was like, "Oh, sorry. I'm already on the next world. I'm already building the next one because I've been playing for so long." Guys, it was just something that I like locked into. I'm on the very last one now. I'm making like $5 million a second. Okay.
Amazing.
And then my wife is like, "Oh, you kind of turned into a capitalist." And I was like, maybe I fucking did.
Yeah. And it feels good.
And maybe I'm about to go start my own business.
Are you telling me I can just buy whatever I want?
I mean, no, it's 1 to 2 players. Luis, I will add you to the server so you can play with me. Okay.
Yeah.
And then Ed, when you're ready, I'll sub you out too. Okay. It's insane. You have all these resources. It's like trees, like wood, silver, iron, copper, diamond, and you have to, as you build more buildings, you have to have more resources. And now I have like 1 billion trees, 1 billion silver, 1,000 diamonds.
Yeah.
2 million iron or whatever. And so now every time I build a building, they're like, you have to build. It's like 500 million resources. I'm like, bop, 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 bop. I'm fine.
I got that.
I got it. I'm ready to go. Okay. Oh, I can tell Ed's not into it. Okay, the same way that like I play the Wicked soundtrack while I build these buildings.
Oh, really?
And I just know Ed's not going to be into it. But no,
you know what? I can't wait for Wicked. I can't wait to know another note besides the at the very end.
I will tell you this. I will tell you this. I will tell you this. I will tell you this.
Defying gravity. Like I want to know the other words.
Laugh at it all you want.
I'm not trying to laugh at it.
I'm not laughing. I'm being serious. Fuck you, man.
I cried when it happened.
All right. I mean, it's a powerful song, and I get that.
It was very good. It was
Cynthia Erivo is an incredibly talented singer. Bless you.
Anyway, that's it. Look, I just play Fortnite, go to Lego. Who gives a fuck?
That's the spirit.
I'm so tired. It's Thanksgiving weekend, you guys. I have so many things to do.
I don't have anything to do.
Here,
your family isn't even coming up. What do you got to do tomorrow?
Yeah,
what do you crazy? Do? You know what's crazy is my wife and my son are my family, and we have a Thanksgiving tradition that we do. We have things that we have to do.
What is the tradition?
You got to get up at the crack of dawn.
Make a turkey.
You know, it sounds like I have to prove myself to you on this.
You gotta
I just want to know.
I have a family thing that we're doing. Okay. We travel for Thanksgiving. It's just us. We make our own Thanksgiving food for just the 3 of us. We enjoy the time, just us, because we travel to Texas in Christmas, okay, to go see you fucks, okay. And I don't like having to explain myself, okay.
Wait, but what happens at Thanksgiving? You just go to somewhere. I'm more curious as a friend to know what happens in your life.
Yeah, sorry. We normally
it's 11:30 for me.
So you want to stay on for another 45 minutes?
Yeah, let's go.
So normally we rent a hotel
have a game for
or
us
an
to play.
Airbnb, and we cook at the kitchen at the Airbnb, and we'll like go explore Colorado, somewhere that we haven't seen before.
It's adorable.
Yeah, we are taking a spring break trip this next year, so we're actually staying home for this year. But we are reaching out to neighborhood families and saying, "Come by," and this and that. And so we're kind of like, just like colloquially hosting, you know.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, no, we don't have 10 million family members to see, but we're going to see them at Christmas.
Thank you.
What the fuck?
See, I was being genuine there. I didn't laugh. No. I didn't say anything. I was taking you in. I was listening and not judging.
I was listening and not judging.
Stop.
I thought that would be a fun game to play.
What a great episode this was.
Okay, yeah, I haven't been into shit.
I thought you were into Gladiator, Ed. Okay,
Blitz and that is 3 weeks ago. Can you just please tell me about Blitz, Ed? Please get it out of your system. We need to just
the Steve McQueen World War II based drama called Blitz. It's now on Apple TV, so you can watch it in the comfort of your own home. It didn't have much of a theatrical run. Anyway, look, this was on like the top of my list because I love Steve McQueen as a director. This movie is probably his most accessible and generic film. Coming off of like the film series like Small Axe and his other movies that had a lot more emotional heft to it. This movie kind of felt like a little ho-hum as far as just like the overall storytelling. Like, you could tell he was very passionate about this story, which is a story about this mother of a biracial kid who gets during the Nazi bombings of London during World War II, all of the children were sent off to the countryside. And, you know, these kids would be sent off without the parents knowing exactly where they were going. And this kid jumps off of the train that his mum puts him on and tries to go back to their home back in London that is being bombed essentially every night. So what this movie feels like is a bunch of vignettes and short stories within a bigger story. It's very almost like Dickensian in the way that it's told. You've got this one kid, this lonely character who's making his way back home, and along the way he's coming across all these kind of different kind of characters, like some really bad characters, some nice characters here and there, with different, like, you know, setups happening throughout. Like, there's it goes into the night, so there's more bombings going on in London, and he's trying to escape that. He's also, because he's a mixed race child, he gets chased by police, or, you know, people assume he's up to no good.
So this movie's mostly about this kid. Like, I thought Saoirse Ronan was like the lead in this movie.
So Saoirse Ronan, no, she's more of a supporting role. This whole movie is told through the eyes of this kid. And if you're Miguel Sanchez and you hate children actors, this might not be the movie for you. And to his credit,
that's fair.
To his credit, though, like, I think this child is, and I'm sorry I don't have his name in front of me. This kid is, like, he's fine, but I think the biggest problem in this movie is, like, it tries to hit emotional heights very deliberately, but when it gets to those moments, they just don't land. I think a big part of that is because of him, but also because he tries to cram a lot of moments into this movie without kind of fully fleshing them out. And I think this movie would have worked better if it was presented kind of like Small Axe, and we saw these individual stories, because the movie takes place through different settings. Like, one setting is his mum working at a bomb factory, which is ironic, obviously, because London is being bombed at that point in time. Miguel already got his Taco Bell. There's a scene where people are taking shelter in the underground rail station. Yeah. And that itself felt like more of a story that could have been expanded on. And there's like this beautiful this beautiful tracking shot of a nightclub scene in London during the Blitz, where all these rich people are enjoying themselves almost as if nothing is happening on the outside world. And then, of course, we see the flip side result of that. And I think that would have been an excellent, like, story to expand on too. And then you have these people who, you know, live in the gutter, and they go and take advantage of the Blitz, where you know, they'll go into bombed houses or stores and steal what they can. I think there's like so many interesting things, and that's the great thing about Steve McQueen, is that he focuses on things that aren't generally spoken of from different cultures, different backgrounds, or different parts of history. In this case, regarding the Blitz, and I think there's a lot more to it. I just think the narrative that he tries to focus on with this kid for this whole story, it doesn't quite hit because it's so convoluted along the way. The performances are fine. Saoirse Ronan is typically always very good. It's no different here. She also has a good singing voice. But overall, the movie just kind of didn't hit on the emotional levels, like I said, that you can tell that it's striving to hit. It looks very good. The visuals are very good. Some of the action scenes are very harrowing. But overall, the overall feeling was a little underwhelming.
Yeah.
So again, this is like another 3 out of 5. You know, a lot of people are talking about Oscar buzz for this, so it's a little disappointing in that regard. But it, you know, it's a solid movie, but it's more of like straight to streaming, unfortunately.
Woof.
I hate to say that, but I think it just could have been expanded on a lot better. There's like a lot more to this that you could tell Steve McQueen is passionate about. And I think he just made a misstep trying to make it this one child story. And the ending is so abrupt, and again, lacking in that emotional punch that it's striving for, that you're just kind of like, oh, okay, it's over. And that's it. Like me and I went with my our friend Josh Brown, and he pretty much shared the same feelings about it towards me, but we were just like, oh, we did not expect it to just end like that.
Wow.
And not necessarily like in a good way, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it didn't feel earned almost.
Well, good. I'm glad you watched it and then kind of like filtered it out for us.
Now we don't have to. Okay, that's good. Thank you, Ed.
See?
And that's it.
Valuable information we need.
How easy was that? I've ranted for maybe like too long, but that's okay. I said it now. And that was one of my 5 movies. Like I can only talk about these 5 movies.
Damn.
And that was 2 back to back. I saw Blitz and Gladiator, and fuck me, was that a disappointing week.
I was going to say, a lot of your critiques on that movie sounded a lot like the Gladiator critiques.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I didn't cry a single tear. And for a good movie, that's what I need.
You know, I think it's crazy is like, I think maybe I also enjoyed Gladiator a little bit too, because the last movie that I previously saw was Megalopolis, and it was also really late, and that was... I can't do a late movie anymore. I have to really like think about those matinees.
Because it takes away from it. Because if you're just straining to focus and stay awake, you're not enjoying it either. You guys, like I told you guys, what was it for Thursday night? I missed my Gladiator 2 showing because I booked my ticket like a month in advance whenever they went on sale. Yeah. And in my mind, ever since Lawrence had been born, I've been shooting for like a later showing because I want to help put at least one of the kids down to bed before I go off and see a movie. And so I just had it in my head that I was going to see an 8:00 film. And then as I put one child to bed, I looked at my phone, just happened to look at my ticket, and I was like, oh, fuck, I'm already an hour late to this movie. At which point, obviously, I'm not going to go see it. But
can I relate just for 1 second?
Yeah.
We went and saw Wicked today, and for the first time ever, we went and saw it at a lunchtime, and we decided we were going to order some food at the theater. And Kristen goes, "Can't you order the food on the app?" And I was like, "Okay, let's like order our food on the app." We had already, we were like 20 minutes out. We're driving to the theater. Let's purchase the food now.
It'll be there when you arrive.
Exactly. We stand in line. We're first in line, ready to get the teenager's attention. Like, hey, I got an order. I happened to find the receipt. She booked it at the theater that was like 10 miles down the road. And we had to reorder all of our food.
No.
And you know what's crazy though is AMC did not give us a chance to obviously cancel that order, to be like, I'm at the wrong location. Like, location wise, you have my phone. This is obviously not the theater, you know? And it ended up being a whole thing, and we ended up reordering it. But it was okay because we walked into the theater and sat down right as the movie started. So it was okay.
Nice.
But just like as far as like misreading like the times on the thing or location or whatever, we had that same experience.
And that's amazing that the app is fucking you by like, oh, you're seeing a movie over here, but surely you're getting this food over here.
Listen, let's get Kristen on the podcast because she'll give you that 45-minute spiel. Okay,
I bet.
we had the whole talk already. Like,
I'm sure that's very aggravating, though. That is super aggravating. Yeah, I feel for you for that.
And when I finally looked at it, I was like, oh no, we ordered it at the wrong. She's like, no, we didn't. I was like, yeah.
How is that possible? Yeah.
Does
AMC have pizza? And there's a reason I'm asking this, but do they have pizza?
I think at some theaters they do.
It
depends where you go. I feel like in every theater there's different like.
It's like a location. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Okay. All right. So like the couple that I sat next to in Gladiator,
at a stinking cheese pizza or something.
They both had their own individual pizzas. I was like,
I would say,
fucking Regal does pizza now. What?
I did feel really bad eating my chicken tenders and sliders. Like we were sharing some food. I did feel really bad. That's one of the things. Like outside of Alamo Drafthouse or those types of theaters, when you sit down and eat food while you're, because like
food.
the movie's really quiet, and why am I crunching on the crunchiest chicken tender?
Yeah,
I just felt like an asshole the entire time, you know.
Can I say I also at the same showing I had another dude on my right, and I got my chocolate raisins right. And at one point in the movie, I tried to like get it out the cup holder, and I just did like a stupid little fumbly thing, and then just like flicked a bunch of raisins all around, and I just like I didn't grab him, but I just like put my hand on his arm. I am so sorry. And he was like, dude, it's fine.
He was more like, dude, let me go.
And then I let the box sit on the ground for like 30 minutes or whatever, because I wanted to pretend like that didn't happen. I was so embarrassed. And then like there was a certain point it was just like, well, I'm gonna finish my candy. So I picked up the box and just carried on eating it.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. But yeah, anyway, sorry. Enough of my little anecdotes about Gladiator 2.
Let us know down in the comments what kind of snacks you eat in the theater. We'll talk about it next week. We'll do anything. Send us a voice memo. Send us a picture. Whatever you want to put on the podcast, we'll put it on here. What an episode, everybody. Tune in next week when we talk about... Who knows? Find out next week when we talk about it. It's been me, Luis Gonzalez, and hold on. I've been walking for about 25 minutes, and I'm almost hitting a mile here.
Wow.
Look at that, this whole time. Walking to mile, baby. It's been me, Luis Gonzalez. With me has been...
Miguel.
And Dad.
Until next time.
Gabagool.
Strength and honor.